Any more small talk, I ain't free cause it ain't off top. I'm at your throat, go get a cough drop. I don't wanna hear any more small talk. Off that short pier, take a long walk. My style ain't free cause it ain't off top. I'm at your throat, go get a cough drop. It's kush. I love me too much and your brain turn to mush. Fall flat on your tush. You couldn't handle the product I push. I guess I'm just used to it, I just do it. Like Nike swoosh, none of that Reggie Bush. Cause I'm top shelf, I ain't got wealth. But I'm on my grind like park rails. I'd sell the shoes right off my 2 feet. Then add one, that's a yard sale. Got dumb bars that be smarter than Harvard, Yale. Take your pictures elsewhere. You wanna be TMZ, I wanna be VIP. Quit pandering, I'm not answering. Cause I don't wanna hear any more small talk. Off that short pier, take a long walk. My style ain't free cause it ain't off top. I'm at your throat, go get a cough drop. I don't wanna hear any more small talk. Off that short pier, take a long walk. My style ain't free cause it ain't off top. I'm at your throat, go get a cough drop. All of that bark and no bite, that's alright. Not everyone can be the big dog. Take a walk, kick rocks. Can't keep me out cause I pick locks. They hearing me knocking, I'll never be stopping. I keep this shit popping like lip gloss.
Well, all right. Man, it's good to be back tonight. Welcome to another edition of Unscripted. Logan is out this evening taking care of some stuff, and Frankie's at work. So me and Gonzo are holding the fort down. Gonzo, what is up, my brother?
Not a whole lot. Ready for this basketball game come on later tonight.
Man, hey, listen.
Hey, last night's game looked like we was finally going to get a close game, but the second half it all turned again.
You know, Gonzo, before we get all up into that basketball and everything, the one thing I really wanted to point out tonight, I want to make specific note because I have to imagine at your dinner table today with the wife, and I have to imagine when you go to bed this evening with the wife, that it's going to be more in your favor given the current score of today's game, Reds 20-5 over the Cubs.
Yeah, that was the final score as well. It's awesome. And they won yesterday, so they split the series 2-2. So now I got more leverage. I can actually talk back to her a little bit.
Yeah, I was about to say, I bet your wife is not a happy camper, at the moment, because that was quite amazing. The 20-5, I mean, and I like I said, man, you never know when a team can get hot. Sometimes they just struggle right at the beginning, and then maybe they get hot during the middle, so we'll see. But I mean, the jury's not out on the Cubs. I mean, they're like I said, they're in rebuild mode. But 20-5, like I said, for you and the wife, I know that had to have been beautiful because you're going to bed smiling, and she's going to bed probably all grumpy, and you're like, well, so.
Oh yeah, I've already. She's at work, and I've already been sending her messages.
Yeah, I'm about to say, I wonder what her night at work is going to be like. Say, after you give her those messages, she's probably like, this SOB.
She works at a nursing home, and one of her residents.
Oh Lord, I feel sorry for those elderly people. She's probably there slinging them around.
He's one of them that she takes care of. He's a big Cincinnati Reds fan as well.
Oh, is he really? Oh, wow.
I'm sure he's giving it to her.
Wow. You know what? You got to be careful, though. When the woman has the blade coming to give you a shave, you don't really want to piss her off too much. So you might want to at least wait until after she gives you the shave first. But yeah, hey, listen, couple of things, and then we'll get into it. Real quick, Zion is cleared to return to the 2022, or he can start getting prepped up for the 22-23 season. So as long as he stays injury-free and we don't get any freak accidents, we should get a Zion next year with these Pelicans. And as you know how well they did to get into the tournament, and then how well they did actually against Phoenix, even though they didn't get the win, they still played Phoenix pretty damn hard. Gonzo, when we get a fresh Zion added back into this team, what is the outlook looking like for them? I got to imagine it's going to be amazing next year. I think they're going to be I think they actually do something.
First of all, if I'm New Orleans, I'm putting a bubble around Zion for him to live in over the offseason, so he comes in the next season completely healthy. But no, right. I think he's going to make a big difference on that team, and that because look what that team started to do toward the end of the season, even without him.
Right.
They made that trade and got McCollum, and McCollum and Ingram fit real well together. That team started really to take off. You add Zion in that mix. I think they were probably in the playoffs and maybe even had a chance to win a first-round playoff series.
There's a lot of hype on Zion when he first came into the league, and that hype quickly dissipated when he started getting injured. So do you think if Zion can somehow just stay on the healthy track and keep his body, straightened out, do you think this is where maybe this year Zion can start to build his legacy? I mean, and I don't want to say legacy because, again, we're hyping him up. But do you think that, we're going to see Zion, like the real Zion, finally start to play?
I think so. If he stays 100% healthy going into the season, because it'll be basically the first NBA season that he's been healthy going into the season as well.
Right.
So I think if he can stay healthy, I look for this to be kind of his breakout year in the NBA, kind of going back to showing us what he could do like he was doing in college. Getting to see his athleticism at the NBA level. I think this will be that year as long as he don't get hurt between now and the start of the season. And hopefully he can get through that first month of the season or so without getting an injury, because it seems like a lot of guys get the injuries in that first month. I don't know if it's just because you're just coming back and you didn't take care of your body enough during the off season.
Right.
And it's hard to compare for an NBA game because you can practice all you want, run sprints and stuff, but it's still not the same as being out there playing in an actual game.
And I get that. And that's why he really, this offseason is going to be a telltale for Zion. If he really wants to be that guy, if he really wants to get to that, that echelon, of the great players, the elite superstar players, it starts in the offseason. And he really has to have a good offseason, especially coming off an injury. He's really got to have a good offseason. If he I hate to play devil's advocate, but I'm going to play devil's advocate. If he comes out to the season and then takes another season-ending injury, does that break his spirits? Does that break the team's spirits for what Zion can be? Because maybe they just had enough. I mean, what happens if that happens again? I wonder, where does Zion go from that? If you know what I'm saying?
I hate to say it, but if it happens again, I'm afraid he's going to end up like Greg Oden.
Right, and that's kind of where I'm wondering where he's heading, is if, he just can't, complete a season. I feel like we're going to start putting him into that Greg Oden category. But I don't know. We'll see, man. Hey, look, the guy was doing 360 dunks, in the All-Stars. So, in the champion or in the tournament, in the background, he's doing 360 dunks. So, if he can do that, then he must be feeling okay. So we'll see what happens. It's going to be interesting. I tell you, man, I'm looking forward to seeing him with the Pelicans and where that Pelicans team can go, because they really were playing pretty damn good. I think they had a lot of people worried in that playing. So we'll have to wait and see on that. The other thing I was going to talk to you about real quick before we get into this is Jake Paul now eyes Big Baby Davis for his next card. I don't know, man. Is there? I don't understand. Are people really that crazy? Because it's going to be pay-per-view. They're going to spend pay-per-view money to watch Paul and Baby Davis.
People will, just because it's Jake Paul. I wouldn't pay money to watch it. I'll tell you that right now. I wouldn't pay for it. I'll probably watch it, but it'd be because I'll find it on a stream or something. But I'm not going to pay. I wouldn't pay no $60, $70 pay-per-view fee to watch Paul and Baby Davis. If you my thing is, if you want to be a boxer, if Jake Paul wants to be a boxer, fight boxers.
Right. Because all we're really getting is celebrity stunts at this point. People are paying big money to see celebrity stunts. I don't get it. I don't see the real entertainment value in that. I do want to point out, John says, "What's up, my dude? Man, what's up, guys? If Zion was healthy, they would have beat the Suns. They did go to 6 games." And that's what I'm saying. I think a healthy Zion is in the mix, and he had been playing, in that season and, gotten the chemistry and all that with their players. I think that they could probably beat the Suns. And I think that's a pretty scary thing, because they're going to have a whole offseason to play with each other. And then, like you said, they're going to go next season. If he stays healthy, this team could gel to the point where now we're going to have to take them seriously.
Yeah. Yeah, because they were, like I said, they were looking real good the second half of the season. After the All-Star break, they really improved, and going into that play-in tournament, they were one of the hottest teams in the NBA.
I don't know. I think Zion wants to stay there. Didn't he just sign an extension to stay there longer? I thought.
I'm not sure.
I don't know. I think Zion's under contract still for a while, so I don't think he necessarily wants out. He's already come out and said that he wants to stay in New Orleans. And maybe I don't know I don't know if there's any truth to what Damian Hernandez is saying. It doesn't sound like there is, but I don't know. We'll see. Mayweather started out fighting. He did. Hey, John, I get it. there was not a lot of really good fighters back when Mayweather first started out. Let's be honest. Mayweather was in a whole other class himself. But I do agree with what you're saying. And I think towards the middle of his career, he really started to fight other people that had noticeable value, like Pacquiao. But he kind of got Pacquiao towards the back end of his career. So I don't know. I don't put a lot of faith in that Pacquiao. What do you think?
But to me, the difference is the bums that Mayweather were fighting were at least boxers. Jake Paul's fighting celebrities or MMA star. Fight your lower level boxers and work your way up.
Yeah, exactly. And I tell you, man, yeah, Mayweather. Well, I tell you what, man, boxing was kind of exciting during the Mayweather time frame because Mayweather was a very skilled and very elusive fighter.
Oh, yeah.
And I know there's a lot of tactics and I know there's a lot of strategy in boxing, and I get that. But sometimes I just want to see the brutality of boxing. And I want to see dudes hit. And I don't know. Sometimes I just feel like, when I go to those kinds of fights, I start thinking to go to the concession stand because they're still dancing. So I don't know. Boxing died after Tyson retired. I don't know, man. When did it really? I think it did because the Lennox Lewis, I thought, Lennox Lewis, Evander Holyfield, those guys were really damn good ass boxers. And I think it kind of died right around the time Lennox and Evander left the sport. And that's kind of when MMA started making its presence known. You think Jake Paul will knock out Frank Gore? Man, shit. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know the skill sets of Frank Gore, and really, I don't think Jake Paul necessarily has a lot of skill sets. What do you think, Gonzo?
I think Jake Paul would probably beat Frank Gore just because Jake Paul he doesn't have terrible boxing skills. I don't know if he'd knock him out because Gore's a pretty tough dude. I saw Gore with the boxing gloves on. He had one fight already. But I think Paul would probably beat him, but I don't know if he would knock him out.
Let me ask you this, and I kind of know the obvious question. I got to be honest with you. I would probably pay money. I'm not going to pay money. Hypothetically, if I was going to pay money, I'd probably pay money to see this fight, Jake Paul versus Gore, before I pay money to see Mayweather versus Jake Paul, because I already know the answer to that question. The fact that, I don't know the full answer between Paul and Gore probably puts some mystery behind it and makes some excitement because I really don't know who would win that, right? So I think it would be a much better fight for me personally, just on a mystery level, because Mayweather's going to beat Paul, right? I mean, that's a given.
Yeah, and if you're buying this fight, you're buying it more to see who will win. If you're getting the other one with Mayweather and Paul, you're basically buying that just because of the spectacle it is, and basically to see what happens after Mayweather wins. Are they going to argue, or what's going to happen? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I definitely get that, and that's more like where I'm in alignment with you on that. All right, man. Look, we're going to dive into this, man. Tonight we got the Mavs and Warriors game 5. We'll get into that here in a second, and we'll kind of when we do the predictions. But just to talk about the last game that the Mavs came off to actually get to this point, I got to be honest with you, Gonzo, and I think we were all in agreement when we made our predictions. We kind of had the Warriors sweeping to the point where there are memes and there are emojis of brooms all over the network and everywhere I pretty much see it, even on Facebook. And I think a lot of people were taken back by the Mavs beating the Warriors. My question is for you, do you think that the Warriors, kind of, I hate to say that the sports are rigged in a way, but do you think they kind of let up off the gas a little bit just to kind of prolong this series so that the teams can make more money? What do you think? Was it legit or not legit game?
I think it was a legit game, but I think what it was more of anything, I think the Warriors came out kind of expecting the Mavs to lay down. I don't think they thought the Mavs would come out with the fight that the Mavs did, because I didn't think they would either after the way they were talking after Game 3. I thought Game 4 they were going to get blown out again.
Yeah, I think it was you that brought up the fact that they look pretty lethargic, and if not basically even self-defeated, even to a point where they're talking about next season. I think you're the one that had brought that up. So we kind of thought that their heart basically wasn't in the playoffs anymore, correct?
Yep. And I think the Warriors thought that going into that game. And then by the time the Warriors couldn't get that intensity level up where it needed to be before they were already down a lot. I know they started to make a comeback there at the end when all the subs was in, but
And again, Gonzo, like I've been saying, if Dallas shows up as a team and not just a couple of players, if Dallas shows up as a team and everybody does their part, I felt like they could give, the Mavs a run for their money. I mean, the Golden State Warriors a run for their mone. And if we are saying that this was a legit game and that, Golden State did come off the gas a little bit, then, the Dallas Mavericks did show up, right? And everybody showed up, and Golden State got outscored. Golden State outscored Dallas in the paint again. But this time the difference was Dallas actually was making their threes rather than missing it, to the point of 20 out of 43, whereas Golden State was 10 out of 28. So that 10 extra kind of gives you your 30-point differential, which made up for what they gave up in the paint and allowed them to win the game. And again, this is kind of why I'm wondering whether or not it was rigged, or if it was, if they let out the gas. Because Golden State, after, I want to say it was right after the rain delay, they cut it from 29 points down to single digits. And to go from 29 down to single digits, that's kind of where I'm wondering if they let out the gas, then reapplied the gas to make it look, a little bit more close. I don't know. I just had this really weird suspicion within me about this game. I'll leave it at that. But this was the 10th double-double this postseason for Doncic at 30 and 14. So Doncic is coming out and doing everything he can to make Dallas successful. But honestly, if the entire team doesn't show up, going up against a mega giant, at least in experience and championship caliber and talent and everything else and depth, it's very hard to beat this Golden State Warriors team if other people don't come up and support Doncic. What do you think, Gonzo?
Yeah, you're 100% right. And that's why I think the Warriors will close it out tonight, because I don't see the bench and all the other guys shooting as good as they did last game on the road tonight. So that's one reason I think the Warriors will win. I don't think everybody's going to show up and hit shots like they were for Dallas the other night. I mean, they couldn't miss, it didn't seem like, and then the Warriors couldn't buy a free throw, and it was just. And then when the Warriors got within single digits, I thought, okay, they might come back and win this, but then they fell apart there at the end. But no, that's one reason I think that the Warriors win tonight, is because the Mavs almost had to play a perfect game. Everybody had to be hitting shots, and I just don't see that happening on the road tonight.
Right. And everything that Anthony Price and John Suggs is saying, I have to agree with. And that's the thing I'm curious about. If they come out and it's a blowout by the Warriors, and I believe this game is in Dallas, correct? Because if the last game was in Golden State,
they're at Golden State tonight.
Yeah, Golden State. I apologize, because it was 2 there, 2 here. Yeah, you're right. So right now we're in the 1-1-1. So so they're in Golden State. And if it's a blowout tonight, then and then they go from 29 down to single digits after the rain delay. It just makes you wonder. It makes you question. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I understand what you're saying. I mean, and it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, things happen all the time, I bet, like that. So the rain delay was weird, just to see a damn rain delay in an NBA game.
Well, you know why that was a rain delay, though, is because the roof was leaking and it was pouring water into the stadium. Yeah. So they had to do that in order to prevent injury and people slipping and things like that. So that's why there was a rain delay, is because they had really bad storms. Had the roof not been leaking, then we're not talking rain delay. Which is kind of tells you, with, I guess, a 21-year-old facility, Mark Cuban, with all your billions, why don't you go out there and put some sticky glue on those holes and fix your stadium? I'm just saying. But yeah, man, look, like you said, Curry only attempted 5 threes. He typically goes 11 to 14 because Golden State is a pretty much 3-point centric team. And I think tonight we're going to see a lot more threes come out of this game. And so the prediction going into tonight, I'm just going to weigh heavily in the favor of Suggs and Price, and I think that they close it out in Game 6, close it out in Game 5 at a 4-1. Gonzo, do you have that, or do you think Dallas has enough left in them to come out one more time?
I think the Warriors are going to win probably by around 10 points tonight and close the series out.
Okay, so John says, do they get the over at 6.5? I say by 12. So here's what I want everybody to say. Do you think the game will be a 10-point spread or less, or do you think Golden State will win by more than 10?
I'm saying 10 or more.
So you think it's going to be 10 or more that Golden State wins by?
Yep.
Okay. John Anthony, put your spread in there. You got 10 or more or 10 or less
I think
victory spread for Golden State.
I think Steph Curry's going to go off tonight and have a big night.
But you know who needs to go off? It's not so much Curry. Thompson needs to get his butt in there. Thompson needs to wake up. Anthony Price has 20, and I think that goes along with what he was saying with the blowouts. That makes a lot of sense. I just think, I don't know, man. I'm saying 10 or less, but I think Dallas kind of shows up, but I think Golden State's just going to be too much. I do give them 10 or less. All right, man. Hey, so we'll switch over to the other side of the ball and talk some Celtics and Heat. Excuse me. And then he says Heat. He said Heat. No, he said Mavs at 30. Damn. Damian said this he says Mavs. Okay, I don't know why I put this up there, man. Damian, I'm sorry, man. You ever put something up that you can't quite read, but you think it's going to be good, and then when you finally read it, you're like, damn, okay, you got me, Ghostwriter. That pattern is definitely full. But yeah, man, Celtics Heat. Gonzo, what did you make of? And I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, that series is at 3-2 now. Yes. Going, and let's see, so it's 3. This is 5. So they're going back to Boston, I believe, this second game, correct? Or was it because I believe the last game was played in Miami, right?
Yep.
So it should be in Boston for Game 6.
Yep, and then Game 7 would be back in Miami.
So what did you think? What is your prediction? Well, let's just kind of go back and review that for a second. If you look at the Celtics and Heat, it was 93-80, which Celtics took them by 13. I think. Do you think at this point we're kind of seeing where Bam Adebayo maybe and the Miami Heat just don't have enough firepower? Let's be honest. I in my opinion, I think Spoelstra has gotten everything out of this team that he possibly can. I mean, they have a lot of undrafteds. They don't really have a lot of size in the paint. They got a lot of, great number twos, but they do have an injury bug. There's a lot of things going against them. But I think Spoelstra has really done a good job getting the most out of this team that he could possibly get. I don't think they have anything left in them to overcome the Celtics in Game 6. But what did you think about the last game, and what do you think about the future?
Man, the way that game started out last night, I was excited. It looked like we was finally going to get maybe a close game till the end. And then the second half, he didn't show up, and Boston just took the game over.
Right.
I think Boston's going to win the next game in Boston and finish it in 6. I just think from the get-go, I think Boston's the better team anyway. But now with all the injuries, it seems like the Celtics are having better luck with their injuries on handling them. And the Miami team just worked with the injuries and everything. They look wore out. And I just don't think they have enough left in the gas tank.
What's interesting is so this is where this is interesting to me.
But their backcourt didn't score no points last night between Lowry.
Oh, I get it. And that's why this is what's interesting to me is the fact that Miami outscored them in the paint 40-36. But on fast break points, they lost it big time, 13-5. But they had less turnovers, 15-12. So there's a lot of good things that was in their favor. But I think what really got them was the field goal percentage. They went 31% to 46%. Then ultimately, that's what cost them the game. They took way more shots. They took 94 shots. Boston took 71. But yet they only converted 31% of that 94.
Yeah, and one thing in the first half, because like you were saying, they had a lot of points in the paint. The Heat did. But in the second half, they just came out and started chucking up 3-pointers.
Yeah. Why didn't they stay? Why didn't they stay to what was working for them?
Yeah, I didn't understand that. I thought they just started chucking up threes, and they were missing them bad. It wasn't even like they were close shots. There were shots that weren't even hitting the rim, just bouncing off the backboard. They were throwing up some bricks. And
Anthony Price goes on to say that
you're having success.
Oh, absolutely. And I don't understand why you get away with it. So Anthony Price says the game is so sad to watch Butler need help bad. He needs help, but where does he get help from? You don't have a lot of talent on that team outside of Hero.
Well, you can say Butler needs help, but Butler hasn't done that in the last 2 games, and I think a lot of that's due to injury. Don't get me wrong, but he hasn't played well the last couple of games at all.
Well, Kyle Lowry hurt him too. I mean, he went 0 for 6. Strauss went 0 for 9. I mean, like I said, the one guy that did show was Adebayo, but
why is Lowry only taking 6 shots, especially if Jimmy Butler's not healthy?
And I shouldn't have said Hero because Hero didn't even play. Oladipo gave you 3. It's just people weren't showing up against this team. And it clearly shows. Now, you can say the injury bug because there is a lot of injuries, right? But, man, wow, it's just crazy. And I think we're going to see in the next game a little bit more of what we saw here today. Suggs goes on to say Hero and Lowry is day-to-day. If Lowry don't play, they get smoked, although he only had 11 points on 5 of 21. On the win, 5-21, he needed to dominate on defense in the paint. I agree.
He didn't even score last night.
Yeah. And he did. I mean, like I said, Lowry's coming off a hamstring issue too. So Lowry's hurt, Hero's hurt. I mean, there's a lot of issues. Butler's obviously not 100%. He saw sort of a picture of Butler and Embiid in heat scan. Yeah, man. John Suggs says Lowry had 0. Yeah. And then he goes on to say, John Suggs says Strauss needs to make 10 plus points. And that's the thing, right? So the supporting cast couldn't give you much. The main cast gave you very little. They got injuries. And I got to be honest with you, the Celtics are in a groove right now. And I just don't see how the next game is going to fare well at all for Boston. I think Boston closes out the series in Game 6. What is your prediction for Boston in the Heat going into Game 6?
I think Boston's going to win the game by 10 or more points and close out the series. I just think Boston's the better team, and Miami. I think Miami's out of gas. They got the injuries, and I think they're out of gas. And like you said, Celtics are starting to get in a groove.
Frankie says, "Ha, like I said, Miami has hot trash. Stop trying to comfort those Heat fans, Jay. I know, man. I've been giving them such a hard time. I got to do something. Spoelstra needs to change his game plan if he wants to extend. I don't think it's so much a game plan thing. I think it's an injury thing. And I think, it's a lack of help thing. But, yeah, I understand what you're saying, too. Celtics have injuries also, so F that. Okay, Frankie, I get that, too. I don't know that it's nearly to the level. And, but the thing about the Celtics is they have enough right now going for them, height-wise, talent-wise, whatever, to overcome a little bit of those injuries that they have, which are injuries are what? To Horford and to Marcus Smart, but their injuries aren't really that bad. It's not keeping them from producing. I don't want to make excuses for the Heat either because they should be producing. If you're going to be on the court, you should be able to produce, or you should just keep your butt in the seat. That's just my opinion. He said Boston by 7. Yeah, man. I do. I don't know if you say Boston in 7 or Boston by 7 points. I'm going to go with Boston by 7 points on the next game, and Boston will close it out Game 6. Gonzo, do you feel that way as well, that the Boston closes it out in Game 6?
Yeah, Boston closes out in Game 6, and I say by 10 or more points.
He said, Jay, 19% from the 3. I don't think it was 19%, Frankie. I think it was a little bit better than that, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't know. It was pretty bad because it was something out 35 or something.
Oh, Jesus. Okay, never mind. No, it's actually Frankie gave them 4%. They actually shot 15.6 from the 3-point line.
What was it? 6 of 35 or something like that?
It was 15.6 for them and 30.3 for Boston. So yeah, and Damian, I'm gonna put this up there to be nice to Damian, but no, just no. Show us why you are the number 1 seed. 7 points, John says. That's what I kind of figured. Yeah, John says 15.6 from 3, not 19. I think Frankie was just trying to make him feel a little bit better, not give him complete hot trash. John Suggs says laugh out loud. And John says 7 of 45 from the 3. Yeah, I mean, Miami was clearly hurt at the 3, but they did win the battle in the paint. And to Gonzo's point, they got away from the paint and they tried to go to the 3 ball. And it's almost like Atlanta versus New England when you got your foot on the gas pedal and you go in the second half and you get blown out in the second half by Brady. That's kind of what happened here. They took the foot off the gas and Boston just killed them. Damon is the Chicago. No, I'm not. Why did I put that up? Jesus, I'm going to get fired.
I love it when Frankie's on the show or in the chat room. We always.
I do too, man. Hey, listen, it's all good.
Frankie always makes it interesting.
Damien, if you want to say stuff about Frankie, listen, I'm not going to censor it, man. If you want to say some trash on Frankie, I'll put it up there, man. I've done it for Frankie. I'll do it for you. So let the battle begin, I guess. I don't know. Maybe I'll probably get in trouble. You said Frankie with some emojis. He gave him the middle finger. Okay, good times. Yeah, man. So tonight, again, like I said, we got the Mavs and Warriors going at it. We'll see if Dallas can pull off the Music City Miracle and keep it alive. But I think me and Gonzo have clearly said that most likely I think Golden State closes this out. All right, man. Listen, we're going to move on to the next one. Colin Kaepernick, guys. Colin Kaepernick, man, works out with the Raiders. Now, mom is the word. He has had the workout. The workout is in the books. Will he make the team? Will he be there at camp? They have not said one way or the other. They will not comment on anybody who is not part of the team per management. And Mason Crosby and a few other players have also basically said the same thing, that they don't know what's going on with that. So we'll have to see. John says, no, in my opinion, I think the Heat need to use Tucker on the inside more and be aggressive from the beginning. You look how they used Bam when they were – and I get it, man. Hey, if you may have to use a combination of Bam and Tucker down low to maybe take on, because again, Bam is not really a center, and I think sometimes we get that confused. He plays the center position, but he's more built like a forward, and I think that kind of hinders him at times. But no, hey, so Gonzo, Kaepernick, man, wow, it's good to see that he got the workout. Do you think he makes the Raiders squad, or do you think that it's just going to go under the radar and fade out?
Man, I don't know. It's hard to gauge that. I hope. I mean, I'd like to see him maybe make a roster. I don't know if he'll get on the Raiders roster, because it's hard to say, because we really haven't heard much about how the workout went, because the Raiders are being pretty hush on it. I mean, I heard the head coach talk earlier at McDaniels, and he wouldn't really even make hardly no comments on it. He said that they bring people in to work out, and then they talk about it and decide if they want to sign them or not. But I'm hoping if he don't get on this, that this does open up maybe other teams bringing him in for a workout.
And correct me if I'm wrong, and I may have to fact check myself on this, but the Raiders, they do a lot of groundbreaking things. In other words, they hired the first black coach in Art Shell, and I don't remember the quarterback's name off the top of my lips, but I believe they also hired the first black starting quarterback, and I'll have to pull that up. That if the actual name's up, I know Art Shell was the coach. I forget the quarterback's name, but I know they did hire the first black quarterback. So it wouldn't be surprising that the rest of the teams, are blackballing Kaepernick, and possibly the Raiders break that mold and sign him just to be who they are in terms of giving people second chances and providing ways where there are no ways. What do you think, Gonzo?
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping, because I don't know if he'll make this team, because is Carr the type of quarterback that you want to bring a big name in like Kaepernick, even if Kaepernick's going to be the backup? Is that going to put undue pressure on Carr? So I don't know if they'll bring him in, but I'm hoping that this at least will open up maybe some other opportunities for him to maybe get looked at by some other teams. And like John Suggs, maybe Seattle. I mean, I think Carolina is going to be in need of a quarterback, so there might be a couple of these other teams that might give him a look. Now that the one team took the chance and done it, maybe more teams, and they're not getting killed in the media or anything. So maybe some of these other teams will jump on and give them a workout.
Yeah, and that's really the thing is will somebody else bring him in? Now, Seattle, Pete Carroll had ties to Cap, brought him in for an interview. I don't know if he worked him out, but I know he brought him in for an interview, and I guess it really probably didn't go anywhere. But yeah, man. I mean, one thing I will tell you is, and I don't know if it's he says it's it's probably a publicity stunt or a media stunt, this, that, or the other. I don't know what Kaepernick's, I don't know what his skill sets look like, because I haven't seen him do anything. So I'm gonna have to rely on them. But I don't know. I mean, at this point, Gonzo, what is your opinion? Do you think he still has a skill set and they're just overlooking him and they're just doing this for media, or do you think that what's your opinion of Cap and what's going on with this whole situation?
Well, skill set wise, it's hard for me to answer that because like you said, we haven't seen him play in so long.
Right.
And we were, no reports have really came out of how did he do in that workout yesterday. I don't know if he could still be a good quarterback in the NFL, or if he'd be a backup, or if he's good enough to try to start. You know what I mean? Because we haven't had the opportunity to see what his skills still look like. I know when you miss that much time, you usually don't come back the same as you used to be, but to what level?
Yeah, exactly. And I think it was no, anyway, I'm sorry. I was looking at something. I was doing a little fact checking on myself before I said something about it. But yeah, gosh, Kat, I wish you could get another shot at it. I just don't think it happens. I think I'm more in line with Anthony Price, where I just think that if they were going to bring him in and give him some serious workouts, it would have happened already. I think at this point in time, I think his window has closed, and I'm not going to go all the way left and say that they did it for a media stunt, but and that's the thing about the Raiders. When you open yourselves up and you bring Colin Kaepernick in, do they open themselves up to say, yeah, it was a media stunt? I mean, because now you're kind of messing with your credibility a little bit. Would you say, what I'm saying? Because like nobody, like Anthony Price say, like they're not really taking it truly serious. At least, from the outsider looking in, if they don't bring him to camp, now it just kind of looks like that way, right?
You're gonna get some people that say that, and that's the thing. If they don't sign him, they're probably going to get hammered by people saying that, and then that's when they're probably going to be forced to not be so quiet about his workout, and maybe even show the video of the workout if they felt that he didn't have a good workout, and that's really why they don't sign him. You know what I mean? They might be forced to end up throwing that, because I could see the media and outside people really jumping on saying that they wasn't serious. They just brought him in to get attention or for a money grab or for whatever. So, I mean, it'd be interesting to see the fallout from this, and I think that what happens if they don't sign him. I think that'll be a big deal to see if anybody else brings him in to work out. Because if the Raiders get buried for not signing him, I think that hurts the chances of any other team bringing him in. Because if they bring him in and they don't want to bring him in and then decide they don't want to sign him, then have to go through the same stuff.
It's very so. John Suggs says hasn't played since 2016, but I say he's better than Daniel Jones, or even say Kyler Murray, or even say Ryan Tannehill, or even Jalen Hurts. And I got to be honest with you. John Suggs, that's a pretty bold statement, because number one, he hasn't played since 2016. And number two, when he did play in 2016, towards the tail end of that, he wasn't playing all that great. So I'll give you the Daniel Jones. Because we haven't seen enough from Daniel Jones to say differently. So I'm going to give you Colin Kaepernick is better than Daniel Jones. I'll give you that one. Tannehill, if you would have said the Miami Tannehill, okay, I'll give you that one too. Just to talk about the Titans Tannehill that got them into the playoffs and so forth, I don't know. I think that's almost a dead even comparison. I don't know if one's better than the other. I'll give you a 50-50 on the Tannehill. Kyler Murray, I think Kyler Murray athletically and through the air, I think Kyler Murray might be a tad bit better than Kaepernick. I'm going to give Kyler Murray the edge over Cap, and I'm going to give Hurts the edge over Cap, because Hurts did get the Eagles on his second year in the league into the play-in. So I think Hurts and Murray, I'm going to go no, but Tannehill, I'll give you just an even, and then on Daniel Jones, I'll give you a yes. And that's how I see that. Gonzo, do you see that any differently?
He might be better than Jones, but it's hard for me to even say that without seeing what he can do, because like you said, he wasn't playing great the last time we seen him. And it's been since 2016. So, I mean, man, he might not even be at the same level he was back in 2016. So, without being able to see him throw a ball or anything, it's hard. It's really hard to say who he would be better than.
Right. And again, John Suggs, the hard part about comparisons is you have to have it to base off of. And you're right, he was injured during that time period, so we don't quite know. he hasn't played in a game in what, 6 years, and that's a lot of time to not being hit by a not being hit by a defenseman. I think it's just been too long to really be able to make that comparison. I'd have to see him on the field getting hit in a game, and then we can make, maybe in a preseason, we have to see him and to be able to judge it a little bit better. But for right now, given the length of time that he's been out, it's just too hard to compare on those levels. Truthfully, I mean, to make a really true comparison, it's just too hard. I don't think this is a stunt. If it was a stunt this time, other teams would be calling Cap for tryouts. But Raiders got. I don't know, man. I think if other teams were gonna do it, they'd have done it by now. And I don't think even now, if they were gonna do it, why don't they do it? Why aren't they doing it now? I mean, nobody's calling them right now. I don't know. I don't know if I put too much faith in this whole Raiders thing. We're gonna have to wait and see if they invite him to camp. If they don't invite him to camp, I think Colin Kaepernick's career is just over, and he should just stick to the political activism stuff, and just continue to go down that path. But yeah, Colin, hey, I do hope the best for you, brother. I would like to see you come back, at least get invited to camp so we can see what you can do. I think somebody should give him at least a trip to camp. I don't know if it costs him anything to give him a trip to camp and take a flyer on him. Even on a vet minimum, it's not really going to hurt you. So, give him a camp invite, pay him a vet minimum, and let's see what he can do. Jokic, Giannis, Doncic, all NBA first team to go alongside Devin Booker and Jason Tatum. Yeah, Tiger needs to retire. Tiger should have retired after he got the green jacket at the Masters a year ago and rode off into that sunset and enjoyed his money. I agree. For legacy purposes, I agree.
I agree, because it's been hard. It was hard to watch him last weekend hobbling around the golf course like that. That's not what you want to remember Tiger Woods for.
No, that's exactly how you don't want to remember Tiger Woods. I agree. But here's what's interesting to me. So all these guys are good. Nobody's gonna take anything away from the five that they selected. But how does that then look? I mean, I guess now so there's no Ja. There's no Trae Young. And as you know, Trae Young scored the most points in the season. Not the most points per game, but the most points in the season. And then you have, LeBron got snubbed. They're all on, I think LeBron got put on the third team. I don't know where Durant fell. I want to say he probably fell on the second or third team as well.
Durant's on the second team.
Is Durant on the second? Okay, I knew LeBron was on the third. I don't know where Ja and Trae Young fell at. I don't know if it was second or third on those.
I'm not 100% sure, but in my opinion, I think they got it pretty good. I don't think Booker should have been first team. I agree with Anthony. I don't think Booker should have been first team. I think it should have been either Morant or Curry. One of them two should have been there in that point guard position instead of Booker. But other than that, I don't think you can really argue with the first team.
I got to be honest with you. I think I'm taking Booker out and putting Curry in. I think Curry just had a really phenomenal season, and he's still in the playoffs doing phenomenal things. So I think I'm putting Curry in at that point, honestly. He said Freddie would take out Booker and put LeBron in.
See, I was Curry would be the guy I thought should have got in at first, but if not him, I think Morant should have been in before Booker as well.
I get the Morant thing, but I like the more versatility of Curry with the outside shot and the inside game. I think Morant is still a little too one-dimensional to get that award for me over him. So that's why I got Curry. I got Curry based on skill sets, a little bit more advanced than where Morant is why I put Curry in that spot.
No, I agree with you. I'd go with Curry first as well. I just think I would have went with Morant over Booker is what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Yeah, absolutely. And he says even Ingram. Hey, I think you're stretching at Ingram. Not that Ingram's a bad player, but I think Ingram might be a stretch there. He said DeRozan definitely should have gotten. You know what? DeRozan did have a really good season. I mean, he kind of had that breakout. Look at me, I'm shooting the mid-range jumper like nobody's business. But again, are you going to say that he's better than Curry? I don't know. But I definitely think he's better than – I probably would have put him in there over Devin Booker just for what he really, truly did for Chicago. You would have put KD over – no. KD's missed too much time, and I'm not putting KD over Booker. Not to say that – hey, I mean, we all know the presence that KD brings to the world of NBA, but I'm not putting KD in there. A player people overlooking is Anthony Edwards. Oh, yeah, Anthony Edwards. Yes, Anthony Edwards is another really good one. He had a really good season with Minnesota. So – I'd have to really do a lot of heavy research into that to really get more into that one.
DeRozan was on the second team. Durant, Embiid, Morant, and Curry were all the second team.
Yeah.
Third team was Siakam, LeBron James, Karl Anthony Towns, Chris Paul, and Trae Young.
Yeah. You know, Giannis actually got 100% of the vote at his position, and that's the second time he's done that unanimously. And I believe it was, Giannis is the first player in the last 50 years to be unanimously selected to in four consecutive seasons. So Giannis has been selected to the All-NBA first team 4 consecutive seasons unanimously. First guy in 50 years to do that, which I thought was amazing. Luka, third NBA first team, and he's only 24. And I think that kind of tells you, where Luka is projecting to where he's going to. I mean, the guy's only 24, but man, he's rocking up the accolades. And I think he deserves it even for the way he's performing right now in the playoffs. It's just crazy.
Yeah. It is crazy. Like I said, he's putting his name in the conversation, getting up to close to conversation to be the best player in the world, the way he's been playing.
And what's interesting to me is this is the first time since 1954-1955 season that the players are 27 years of age or younger. This is the first time since that long ago. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that is crazy.
I know Kobe Covington should not be first team, and I get he's a good rookie, and he whatever, and he's doing well, but no, not first. I'm not putting him at first team. It's just way too early. No, we're not doing that. But yeah, man. So this is your 5, regardless if we like it or not. I think a lot of us don't like it, and I think really it's just the Booker issue. I think Tatum deserves to be there. He's still in the playoffs. He's doing well. Giannis, obviously. Jokic, I don't think you can look at, and again, Joker and Embiid split the votes. And so because he got MVP of the league, that's why he's on the first team, and that's why Embiid got put on the second team. But man, can you imagine how close that was, to be honest with you? Because both of those guys deserve to be on the first team, for different reasons.
Oh yeah, I bet you it was real close, because because like you said, MVP votes being close. Can we block Damian?
I can't block nobody, man. Listen, we don't censor here. I don't censor nobody. If you want to say what you want to say what you want to say. The rest of us may look at you side-eyed, but we're not going to block you, Damian. Hey, God bless your soul. I think because of the American Disabilities Act, I can't do that to you. So I got to let you say what you want to say. All right, so John says, does Luka remind you of Ginobili or a Tim Duncan, or would you say a Larry Bird? Man, I think more of a Larry Bird than Tim Duncan and Ginobili. I think Bird would be, that's a pretty fair comparison, man. Bird and him, they obviously had the same type of skill sets, and I think Bird is, in my opinion, would be the closer of the 3. How do you feel about that, Gonzo, in that comparison? Gonzo, you there?
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay. Hey, how do you feel about this comparison? Who do you compare him to out of those 3? I said Larry Bird.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Larry Bird's a good comparison.
Man, Bird was a hell of a good player too. Lark, he is not Dirk 2.0. They play this. I'm not going to say that. No, Anthony Price. I get it, man. And I don't want to say that he's not Dirk. I would compare him more with Bird than I would Dirk. That, in my opinion, I compare him more with Bird than Dirk. That's just me. But I can see what you're saying about Dirk. I'm not going to say that that's completely off basis. But I think out of the question, I'm giving it to Bird. Either way, man. Hey, look, this is the 3 we got. I think, like you said, I think out of the ones that are up there, Devin Booker probably is the one that's mostly subjectable. And I think we can all put, I guess another guy in there in the league that, you can put Anthony Edwards. I go with Anthony Edwards, played a hell of a good game. I don't like the fact that Devin Booker disappeared the last 2 games of Phoenix, and that's what cost them, from playing Golden State, and why Dallas was able to move on. So I do kind of hold that against Devin Booker for a large sum. So that's just my opinion.
The other one I saw a lot of people complaining about is they thought LeBron should have been second team over Durant. They thought LeBron and Durant should have been flipped.
I don't know who was in the playoffs and who wasn't. I'm just saying who was in the playoffs and who wasn't. And before people go on that rant, yeah, you can look at the past. I get it. But I'm trying to look at the present and look at the future. And I'm not going to give him all NBA first team just because he had a hell of a great past. And I don't even want to say that LeBron. No, LeBron is still a great player. He did great. I'm not going to say that. LeBron had a good season. I can't say that. No, I'm going to retract that statement. Look, LeBron did play great. But LeBron ruined this team at the GM level, bringing in – when he brought in Westbrook, he really contaminated that team. But I'm not going to say bad things about Bron because Bron did play a good season. I'm not going to say it. He did play a good season. So I guess you – God, I hate to say that. Yeah, you can make a good case for Bron over Durant. Even though Durant was in the playoffs, the way that Bron played point-based and what he had to do with that team at a player level, not a player GM level, but at a player level, I can understand what you're saying. Dirk carried the Mavs just like Luka is doing right now, so why not compare the two? Well, there's a lot of people that compare Damian. Just because he carries a team doesn't mean – hell, everybody. So am I going to – okay, so watch this. Am I going to compare him to Steph Curry? Because Steph Curry carries Golden State to a certain level. Tatum carries Boston to us. I mean, you can't really make that comparison. That comparison doesn't make no sense to me. But I love you, Damian. God bless your soul. Wilson, bulking up means what for the Jets? Well, I'll tell you. In my opinion, Gonzo, it doesn't mean a whole hell of a lot because the Jets still suck. And they still have a ways to go. Even though they drafted some good players and they're on their way, at a team level, it doesn't really mean much. But on a personal level, on his career development, that's where it will mostly come into play because he's at 221. His ideal play weight is 218. He played at 208 last year. So by putting an extra 10 pounds on, they wondered if it was going to slow him down and prevent him from being able to elude pass rushers. But from what he's saying and from what Salah is saying, that it's not slowing him down, that he'll be just fine, that it's good playing weight, and that he feels confident. And Salah says that he sees a lot of good things coming out of Wilson. What can you expect for Wilson going into next year? Obviously, we know what the Jets are going to do, but him as a quarterback and how he performs, what are you expecting out of Wilson this year, Gonzo?
Oh, man. I'm not expecting a whole lot out of him because I'm not sold that he's an NFL caliber quarterback yet. I don't think him bulking up is going to affect a lot. I mean, maybe he'll be able to take a few more, take some hits a little bit better, but bulking up isn't going to affect. It doesn't affect if you can throw the ball to the right player down the field or not. And I think his biggest problem is right now is breaking down the defenses and knowing where knowing his reads. I just don't think he's fast enough at it yet. And some players never get there. Some players, after a year or two in the league of learning, they get there. And he's in a tough situation, like you said. I see a lot of people thinking that the Jets are going to be the second team in the East that they have jumping over the Patriots. I don't know where
that's such a huge stretch, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know where people get that from. All of a sudden, yeah, they had a good draft, but 9 times out of 10 in the NFL, just having a good draft don't affect you as much as some of the other teams because you got a defensive side and an offensive side. If their offensive line isn't a hell of a lot better, it's not going to matter what Wilson has done because he's not going to have time to read the defense and get rid of the ball.
I'll be honest with you. The best team, or I would say a team that could be not only the best team in that division, but probably the best team in that conference would be Miami. What holds Miami back and what keeps Miami from feeling that destiny or that prediction or that prophecy is their quarterback. Tua is not the answer. He's just not. He can't get the ball downfield quick enough for a guy like Tyreek Hill. He can't. And I don't believe that Tua is the guy. And I think that's what's really holding Miami back. They got the receivers. They got the running backs. They got the line. They got the coach. And I'm not going to say the coach quite yet because I haven't seen enough from him yet. But they have a damn good defense. They got the complete package team. They just don't have the field general. And that's why that's the only thing that's holding Miami back right now is a field general. And why I really am surprised they didn't go after a guy like Russell Wilson, harder, because I felt like if Russell would have gone to Miami, it'd have been game over, bro. I think it would have been game over, Gonzo.
Oh, I agree. You heard their name going after Deshaun Watson, but you didn't even hear their name much going after Russell Wilson. And then Russell Wilson would have made Miami a heck of a lot better. I'm the same as you. I'm not sold on Tua. Uh, I was never a big Tua fan in college. I didn't really understand why he was so hyped up. And then coming off that injury even made me worry more because and you never know how you're going to act to a hip injury or a leg injury. It can take you a long just because you feel healthy. It can take you a long time to get back to 100% and being mentally ready where you don't think you're going to get hurt like that again.
You know, the one thing I will say about the Jets in a positive light is that I think, you know, this draft, they took them in a positive step. And I think that Salah is trying to turn this organization around. And we got to be honest, man. It's hard to turn around an organization that's been losing for a long time. It's hard to turn that type of organization around quickly. It takes time. Like, you literally have to be in power long enough to get your philosophies, to get your drafting, to get your free agency. It takes a little bit of time. So for Salah, the jury's out for me right now because I'm trying to give him time to be able to do his job. Yeah. But I don't think the Jets are as bad as we think they are. I think they're going to come around. I think they get maybe 6, maybe 7 wins this season. I don't think they get more than that. I think they stay, you know, probably like second to last or last, just depending, you know, on Wells. And they may even just be last. I mean, let's be honest. But at the end of the day, though, I think they're going to play better this year than they did last, and that's an improvement. And I do think Wilson put on a little bit of weight, eating right, getting his nutrition right, learn the playbooks, getting in there, being hungry. I do expect to see a better version of Zach Wilson this year than what we saw last year. At the very least, I do expect to see an improvement in him. And I think if you don't see that improvement, then we got to start looking elsewhere if I'm New York. Michael Canseco, hey, man, you can come on if you want, but it's got to be Monday or Tuesdays, man. And you can't talk about anything before 19. No, you can't talk about anything before 2015. If it's any older than 2015, man, because we're a little bit more modern day sports show than 1968, but it's all good. And thank you for sharing, by the way. Thank you for sharing our stuff. I do appreciate that very much. Comment is in the building from New Bedford. Jets get at least 12 wins. That seems crazy to me. For some reason, Jay don't like me. I'm good. I still respect you, brother. Gonzo knows how I am. I respect you, Michael. Damn, I love you, brother. Don't take it the wrong way. You just need more updated material. That's all. But I love you. I love you. In the words of Jerry Springer, I love her, Jerry. But I love her. Yeah, I love Jerry Springer. You can't ever go wrong with a Jerry Springer reference. All right, moving right along. We're going to go into Kyler Murray worth $280 million. And guys, I know me and you have kind of already scratched the surface on this. Here's my thought press. I don't think he's worth $280 million. The problem with it is that the Cardinals, there's not another receiver out there better than Kyler Murray currently in the free agency, not this year in the draft, possibly next year. So let me ask you, I'm going to pose this a little bit differently to you, Gonzo. If you're the Arizona Cardinals, do you give him the $280 million, or do you try to see if you can move up in the draft and try to snag one of the quarterbacks in next year's draft?
I wouldn't give him $280 million.
Right.
What has he shown so far in the NFL that he's worth $280 million? He's had flashes.
But you know, that's the thing, Gonzo. What has Dak Prescott shown that he got his contract, or a lot of other quarterbacks? The problem is if you're an owner or a GM, you're looking at best available in the free agent market. You're probably looking to see what's coming up in the draft and what your chance of landing that quarterback is. And if you don't see anything in free agency better than what you currently have, and if you don't think you have a chance at one of those marquee quarterbacks coming up in next year's draft, well, now you're kind of put into a rock and a hard place. And even though he's not worth $280, do you give him $280 just to keep something that's competitive?
I mean, you might, just because, I mean, if he don't succeed, it could be the GM's job, because you did get rid of another guy that you just drafted number 1 to replace him with Murray. And then you brought in a coach that really I didn't think was deserving of an NFL job. But, so, I mean, he might get it, but I don't believe he's worth it. No, I don't. If I was a GM, I wouldn't give him $280 million. I mean,
Okay. So now I'm going to go back I'm going to go back one comment, and I'm going to come back to the next comment. And then I want to see what Anthony Price's solution is. And also John Suggs, I want to know what your solution is. He says, Jay, you're trying to do what the NFL is trying to stop tanking. I get that, Anthony. I don't like tanking either, but put yourself as a GM. I want you to put your GM hat on. And like I said, you got him. Somebody's going to give this man $280 million. Some team out there will do it, whether it be the Panthers or whoever. They're going to give him the money because they don't have a quarterback that they think could get them where they need to go. And Kyler Murray, they probably will believe just that much because they're going to the sand looking for the oasis. So if you're the Cardinals and you've got your GM hat on, you don't think you can get a free agent quarterback better than what you currently have. Maybe you're too high seated to get the quarterback in a draft, and maybe you try to draft up. And I mean, you know what I'm saying? Do you try to draft up and not give him the $280 million and take a chance on losing Kyler? And then if you're not able to draft up to get the quarterback, what if he lives out on that front too? Now you're stuck between 0 and 0. So what is the answer for the Arizona Cardinals, given that you don't think he's worth $280 million? I'm just saying. Quarterbacks unfortunately run the show. After paying them, you lose cap space and lose players through free agency. I get that. I agree. Hell, look at Dallas. Look what Dallas did with Ezekiel Elliott, Dak Prescott, and Amari Cooper, and then they had to get rid of Amari Cooper to cap space to keep. So I get it, man. Hey, listen, Dallas Cowboys are a prime example of that. Murray is worth a lot to this franchise, but to say he had a Josh Allen or Aaron Rodgers effect on this team would be silly and misguided. I agree with you. Again, I don't know that it's so much that that you pay him according to what the other quarterbacks that are great are. You pay him according to what the best that you have available, and maybe that's all you have that's available. Gonzo, what do you think?
Me personally, even if I was the GM, I wouldn't pay him the $280 million, and if we lose him, I'd go on and try to get me another quarterback. I think you pay him that $280 million, you're setting your franchise back another 4 or 5 years, because I just don't think he's going to be that consistent top level QB that some people do. He's just been too inconsistent for me to say that. And I mean, the Cardinals are already going into this season banged up because you're not just banged up, but Hopkins is going to miss 6 games for the suspension. But I think Arizona needs to change their coach and their quarterback myself, but that's been my opinion. I haven't been sold that Murray wants to be in the NFL. I think he's going to, like I said yesterday, I think he's going to play baseball.
I don't think so. I think, hey, John Suggs, he hasn't been offered a $280 million yet. They're just suggesting that that's probably what the offer is going to be. So there has not been a term limit on how many years the $280 million is for. That's just what he's projected to be offered. So we'll have to wait and see how many years, he gets offered for that type of money. It was projected. Okay, so 6 years. So John Suggs says 6 years at $280 million. That puts it at $40 million a year, which is comparable to where Dak Prescott is and what he was offered. And I think Kyler Murray is, and I hate to say this because I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan, but I think Kyler Murray might be I don't know, man. I think him and Dak are probably tied, to be honest with Dak. I can't rank one over the other. I think they both are just average, to be honest with you. Owners have their hands tied now. But now it's based on scale. Watson set the landscape off the hook at $230 million, which he kind of did. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of metrics. And let's be honest, Anthony Price, John Suggs, if Arizona doesn't offer him the $280, does he then shop his services to a team like Carolina, whose best damn quarterback is Darnold? And you don't think that Carolina will give him some money and give him probably that? I'm just saying. Somebody's going to give it to him. I'll give him $28 million a year for 6. He's not getting a no trade clause with me. Laugh out loud. That is awesome. Yeah, look. Again, I don't think it's if he's worth $280 million, because I think we all agree he's not. I almost think it's almost situational based. Whether or not he gets the $280 million, I think somebody offers it to him. I just do. I see somebody doing that. John Suggs says, when the last time the Cards going deep? Carson Palmer, you're right. And Warner, I think Warner. I would go probably more with Warner than I would the other two.
Hey Jay, did you think that Dallas overpaid for Prescott?
Yes, I did. Absolutely.
I thought you did. I thought you did. I can remember.
I absolutely thought they overpaid for Prescott. Again, I guess I see why Jerry. I guess Jerry didn't want to lose him. I guess maybe Jerry thought he would, and so he gave him the money. But yeah, do I think he's worth it? No, just I don't think Kyler Murray is worth it. I think it's all situational based, and these owners freaking out that they're going to lose, whatever quarterback they have, and there's not going to be something else out there that's better than what they currently have. So I think they make irrational moves, and it is what it is, and it is business. So it's crazy. I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. I think they're getting paid too much damn money. It is what it is. Darnold says he's confident. Speaking of Darnold says he's confident that he can be the quarterback the Panthers need. Now, it wasn't Pride. Who the hell was it? Somebody said you can say it all you want, but if your actions basically don't back it up, nothing. As a matter of fact, if you are saying it, that means you probably aren't. That was what they were basically getting at. If you're saying you're confident, that really means you're probably not. However, I do want to point out that Matt Rule says that he's in the practice more focused with more of an edge than he has ever seen in the quarterback before, and that he knows, and he says that Darnold knows his weakness is his footwork being a little bit loose, and he needs to tighten it up and get his feet back where they need to be in terms of footwork. So Darnold realizes that's the weakness. Matt Rule knows that's the weakness, and that's something he says he's going to work on to get better at. I don't know, man. Like I said, unless you see something better coming out there, what do we think of Darnold? Is it just a ruse? Do we think we're going to get the same Darnold as we got last year and the year before last? What do you think?
First of all, Jay, it was Mike Hughes that said that. It said
was it Mike Hughes? Okay.
It said if you have to tell somebody you're confident, then you're not confident. But yeah. Matt, it's hard for me to say on Matt Darnold because he's been in so many different systems. We haven't got to see him stay in the same system enough to see if he can improve. I think he could be a little bit better than what he has shown. I really do. We'll see if Matt Rule can get that out of him here in Carolina. But I do agree with John Suggs. I think Darnold's just a placeholder right now until Corral gets healthy and they get him up to speed. And because I think Corral has a lot higher ceiling than Darnold does.
So again, I'm not saying I agree with Anthony Price and John Suggs. I don't think that he is the answer. We'll have to see him with the offensive coordinator for more than 1 year. I mean, he is having to learn a system a lot of different times over and over. So I almost kind of think in a way that maybe he's been might have kind of been given a bad deal, having to relearn different systems, not able to perfect any one system. So I do see where, a lot of people are coming from with him. I think with Darnold, it's just going to take, we need to see, it's going to be almost proof is in the pudding. And to top it off for everybody, he is in the 5th and final year of his rookie deal. So this is a make it or break it. This is a contract year for Darnold. So in my mind, I'm telling myself, okay, it's a contract year for Darnold, which I think is why he's more focused, why he's coming in with an edge. Because Darnold has already said, hey, you guys don't think I know the situation in which I'm in? Darnold knows exactly the situation and what it is. He knows that this is a make it or break it year for him. Matt Rule has come out and said, yeah, his back is up against the wall. So we'll see what Darnold does. So yeah, he's in a contract year. And I tell you, if Darnold has any kind of chance, man, hey, Darnold, this is the year to do it, Bubba. You won't have any more chances. I don't know how many more people are going to take a chance on you, at least not at the starting level. Maybe they will give you a backup role, but definitely not at the starting. So this is your year, your contract year, buddy.
Yeah, and his destiny is in his hands because if he goes out this year and balls, he's going to get a big contract with either Carolina or somebody else. But if he don't play well this year, like you said, he might end up somewhere as a backup. But getting that big contract, he's not going to get it unless he balls out this year, and then he'll have that chance to get sign that big deal.
Yeah, and John Suggs says Panthers need to invest in a healthy running back. CMC is always hurt. I agree. CMC is always hurt because he is pretty much been the offense. So when you're primarily the offense, you're going to get hurt. And let's be honest, like we said before, running backs have a very short lifespan in the NFL, maybe 6-7 years. But if you're the primary focus, you could almost shorten that because the body's going to take a lot more abuse. So to say that, he's getting hurt, he's getting hurt because he's primarily the offense. And when you're the offense, that's what's going to happen. He said Darnold is gone. They drafted QB. Yeah, I hear you, brother. Michael Kaseka comes in and says, fellas, is what you can do. Pay the quarterbacks their money, but prorate their salaries so they still get their money in increments and still be able to pay their offensive line, defensive line facts. I get that too, because obviously without offensive, defensive lines, your team's not going anywhere, and that again is an issue with a lot of teams, especially with the Cowboys losing Lyle Collins and McGovern and so forth because of just salary cap expectations. Hey, Gonzo, you got anything else left to say on this one before I move on?
No, man. I'm ready to move on.
All right. Can the Yankees stay on top with the injuries they have? And Frankie, I wish you would chime in because I'm about to rip your team apart. Listen, and I'm really not going to rip them apart. Look, here's the deal with the Yankees, man. Chapman's on the IL, the 15-day IL with a left Achilles tendonitis. Look, that's not far away from a tear, folks. Yeah, he escaped a tear, but it's not far away from a tear. Do you think 15 days is going to be sufficient to heal up that injury? Okay, I guess we'll see. But I know with that type of injury, in my opinion, it should be at least a month and a half to fully let it, get back into shape. I think they're kind of rushing Chapman along a little bit more than what they need to. Chad Green is lost to Tommy John surgery, so you lost one of your best relievers. LeMahieu has a left wrist discomfort, so he's on day-to-day. And then they just put Stanton on the IL for a sore ankle, and he also has calf tightness. So here's the deal, man. You guys the season's young, and a lot of people say the season's young, so better they get hurt now and let it heal and let it do this. But you know what? There's 162 games. And if they're getting hurt now, you don't think they're going to get hurt later down the road? I think the wheels fall off. As a matter of fact, to quote Philly Sports Guy, I'm going to quote Philly Sports Guy. Philly Sports Guy, I talked to him this morning, and Philly Sports Guy said that he has the Yankees' wheels falling off, and they are hitting 500 winning percentage by All-Star break. So, Frankie, I'm not saying that prediction's coming true, but there's a lot of truth behind that because historically the Yankees do come out hot, but then they cool off with injuries. And I would not be surprised if they fall off to at least close to the 500 mark by the All-Star. And I think, and let's be honest too, Frankie, and I think Frankie, I'm talking to Frankie because I know Frankie was here. He'd be giving me Jay, Astros this and Jay Astros that. So I already know it's coming at him with the Astros. But like the Philly Sports Guy pointed out, you guys have not played a lot of divisional round games. You played the Orioles and a few other soft teams. So you're almost like your record is a little bit inflated just due to the level of competition. So don't think that just because they're right now the first to 30 and they outbeat the Mets to that race. But I think once you guys start playing Toronto and Tampa and even the Boston, because Boston always plays you hard too, I think that record is going to come back a little bit more into practicality, and we're going to see what we actually do have with the Yankees over the soft schedule that they started out with. And by the way, the Astros have had a soft schedule too, so I really don't even know what I have with the Astros right now, to be honest with you. Gonzo, your thoughts?
I think the Yankees will be all right. I think they're going to fall back some. I don't think they'll fall back all the way to 500 by All-Star break. I think they will fall back a little bit because of some of these injuries. But I mean, as long as you're going to get these guys back at some point, and then you just have to hope they stay healthy after that. But I don't see them falling way back with this injury. Well, they're playing the Rays tonight, which is a big series, and right now they're up 3-0 in the 6th inning on the Rays. I think they still have enough starting pitching and enough. I think their offense is their key. They have enough offense to keep them in games where if their pitching does give up some runs, it's just not as big a deal as it is on some other teams.
Yeah, and again, John Suggs, I think the reason why Pags, I call him Pags, but Philly Sports Guy, whatever, I think the reason why he has him closer to the 500 is just because they haven't played enough divisional round games yet. And based on how they play the divisional round games, I think it was where I think they get closer to the 500 mark. And again, like I said, their schedule's been pretty soft right now, so it's really hard to see where they truly are. But losing Aroldis Chapman and losing, one of your key relievers in Chad Green that's a pretty significant deal. And the Achilles tendon is nothing to joke around with, especially if you're a pitcher when you got to plant that foot. So again, watch out, man. I'm telling you, don't let the smoke and mirrors of a soft schedule to start out, cloud your judgment for where this team is probably going to wind up at once they get into the divisional round games. But all right, man, enough talking about the damn Yankees. Get it? Did you get that? There's a band called Damn Yankees. I want you to know that. I put a pun there. That's where we were supposed to laugh, Gonzo.
I was laughing. You just didn't hear me.
Oh, okay. I don't know if I got this comment. Oh, yeah, okay, I did get that comment. Okay. Jock Peterson breaks the slump and goes yard 3 times. Just to give you a little heads up on Jock Peterson, he talked to Barry Bonds for about half an hour, if not even to an hour, or even almost about 6:15 prior to the start of the game, picking his brain about hitting, what it takes, what kind of mindset you should have at the plate, so forth. So, just kind of getting tips from probably one of the best hitters in the league, or the best hitter in the league, however you want to look at it. So he really got a lot of good information and cleared his head and went out there and played his game. And just to kind of give you a heads up, he was 4 of 46 in the month of May coming into that evening. 4 of 46. That just tells you how bad of a slump this guy was in. And so after talking to Barry Bonds, he goes out for the game and gives you 3 home runs and 8 RBIs to have what amounts to a career night. And he got 1 off of Drew Smith. He got 2 off of Chris Bassett. And I don't know, man. It's amazing. It's amazing to go, you're at 4 of 46 for the month. You talk to Barry Bonds, and then you go out and have a career night, 3 homers and 8 RBIs. Just blows my mind, Gonzo.
Yeah, it was crazy. Because like you said, being 4 for 46 and you hit three home runs and have 8 RBIs in one game. I mean, but that's the thing about baseball, man. You can be on a slump and then all of a sudden you get hot. And if Jock Peterson gets hot and stays hot, he's scary up there at the plate.
Yeah, and the Giants team was not playing too bad, so it's going to be interesting to see, where they actually go from here. But man, I tell you, man, when you're doing 3 home runs and 8 RB, that's just crazy to me. I mean, to get 1 home run is amazing, but to hit 3, just phenomenal. And the Giants did go on to win that game. I didn't write down the score, unfortunately. I wish I had, but they did go on to win that game. Just amazing. And congratulations to Jock Peterson. All right, folks, that is the last topic of the night. We are getting ready. We are literally probably like 20 minutes or so away from the start of the Dallas. No, it's a 9 o'clock game tonight, correct, Gonzo?
Yeah, 9 o'clock.
Yeah, so we're about 45 minutes or so away from the start of tonight's game. So I'm going to get you guys out of here so you can go relax, get you a couple of beers, chill out, smoke a few cigarettes, and then get ready to see if the Dallas Mavericks can pull off the ultimate upset tonight. However, in a comma, Saturday, baby, Saturday, we got Robert Duran Jr., son of Roberto Duran, the famous boxer, coming on the show, 8 p.m. Eastern, on Unscripted, on the ASAP network. And I can't wait. And Gonzo's going to be there, and we're going to have a hell of a good time. Gonzo's really more of our boxing expert type person. He knows everything about it. And, man, Gonzo, I can't wait, brother.
Oh, no, I can't either. I'm excited. I've been excited ever since you guys announced this that he was going to be on. I'm a big combat sports guy, UFC, boxing. So I think it's going to be real interesting Saturday night.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. No doubt about it, man. A couple of questions. Do you think the Hurricanes can pull off the series? Yes, I do. More importantly, Gonzo, do you follow hockey? I don't follow hockey as close as I want to. Do you follow hockey?
I try. I watch some of it. I'm kind of like you. I don't follow it as close as I need to, but that's what I have on right now is the hockey game.
Because what I was kind of wondering was, and I saw this, is the Avalanche. They're like the quote unquote favorites, right? They actually I believe lost the other night. Real quick, the series between the Rangers and Carolina is tied at 1 apiece. Tied at 2 apiece. So it's 2-2 in the series. And right now it's 14:33 left to go in the second. And the Rangers and the Hurricanes are tied at 1. So that looks to be pretty damn nice in terms of that. And we'll have to see what goes on there. When I look back at the scores real quick, go ahead, Gonzo. I'm sorry.
That first quarter was a hard-fought first quarter in that hockey game. Like I said, I had it on the TV kind of every now and then while we've been talking. But
I just, me personally, I got the Hurricanes winning that series. It's good to see. It's good to see the Rangers back in playoff hockey. I mean, they haven't been in there for a little while, so it's good to see them back in playoff hockey. But yeah, I got the Hurricanes winning that one. And I was trying to go to this. Let's see. Today's Thursday, Wednesday. Yeah, so the Blues beat the Avalanche in overtime, 5-4. So currently, Colorado is up on the Blues, 3-2. I don't, Gonzo, I'm gonna get your opinion on this one right now, or two opinions. Let's start off with the Carolina game first. 2-2, tied at 1. Who wins the series, or who wins tonight, and who wins the series? Let's get those two predictions.
I think Carolina is going to win tonight, and I think Carolina is going to win the series.
Man, you make Logan's heart happy. That's Logan's team. All right, then we're going to go to the we're going to go to the Avalanche and the Blues. It's 3-2 right now in favor of the Avalanche. How do you see that playing out?
I think the Avalanche is going to end up winning that series. I just think they're the better overall team, and I don't see St. Louis being able to win 2 in a row.
Yeah, I think with the Blues, if some kind of miracle happens where they do beat the Avalanche, that really would be, I think, the upset in the NHL playoffs, in my opinion. A team that no one talked about is the Oilers. They're the dark horse. Yeah, Edmonton Oilers. Yeah, they are. I bet they are the dark horse. And again, I really got to point up more of my hockey, but yeah, man. And I like teams that, we don't always talk a whole lot about. I felt like the Avalanche, the St. Louis Blues, a team like the Rangers or Carolina, they get talked about a lot. But Edmonton Oilers, you don't really hear a whole lot about Edmonton Oilers. And so I like seeing teams like that, especially dark horse team. If you're a dark horse and I don't have a team in the fight, my team is the Dallas Stars, so I don't have a dog in the fight, then I kind of look for the dark horse. I kind of root for the dark horse just because I like dark horse wins. Well, I would like to see the Oilers win.
I always root for the underdog if my team's not playing. If my team's not in, I'm usually rooting for the underdog.
I just think it makes it more interesting.
Hey, everybody loves a good underdog story.
Who doesn't want a good underdog? Like right now, you had the perfect underdog story, 20-5 over the Cubs. You got superiority over the wife at bed when you go to sleep at night. That's amazing.
Oh, yeah, I'm waiting for her to get home here in a couple hours.
Hey, it's bad when you got confetti ready to drop the minute she opens the door and you say Happy Reds Day.
But baseball's the only sport she really keeps track of. But she does. She keeps track of the Cubs. She loves the Cubs.
Man, that is incredible. Okay, I managed to get through every topic in an hour and 22. That is just amazing to me. Gonzo, we're at final thoughts, brother. What is your final thoughts?
Ready to enjoy a nice basketball game tonight. Hopefully it'll be a close game. We haven't had a close game to watch that's came down to the end for a while here in these playoffs. So it'd be nice to see a game come down to the end. And make sure you join us Saturday night. I'm really excited about Duran being on. I know it's going to be a great show, so make sure you come join us Saturday night.
I definitely agree with you. Like I said, I'm rooting for Dallas to get the win, but I expect Golden State. But God, how great would it be if Dallas pulls off a win tonight? I think it would be amazing. Yeah. My wife's from Dallas, and I don't have a dog in the fight. My Rockets are at home chilling in Cancun, where they probably got season tickets for the next several seasons. So we're chilling in Cancun. But if the wife can get the win tonight, more power to her. Poor me and Gonzo with the Pacers in Houston, man. We're just hurting, man. One last comment before we get out of here. He said, what did John Suggs say? Have you watched any NCAA tournament games this year? NCAA baseball tournament games. No, I have not. Matter of fact, that's something I plan to get more into. And I got to talk to Jim Cross because he's a big NCAA baseball guy. But I need to get more into baseball. So we're going to start talking more NCAA baseball as we go along, as I get more educated on it. So, yeah, we're going to definitely have to start bringing more baseball, into the conversation. Gonzo, are you pretty good with NCAA baseball? Do you keep tabs on that?
I haven't this year as much as I have in the years past. I've been watching a little bit of it, but usually I watch almost all the games. But I've been a little bit busier this year, so I haven't got to watch as many as normal.
No, I feel you. John Suggs, I have a feeling over this summer, man, we're going to start gearing up for NCAA baseball going to next season to where we can talk more about it on the show. So be in mind that we will bring NCAA baseball to Unscripted. I just want to start off with a fresh season and get more educated on it before I start speaking on it. And if you want everybody to talk about NCAA baseball in the comments, man, hey, we'll always talk about it too. So, hey, put whatever you want out in the comments, man. We'll talk NCAA baseball. I just got to get more educated to be more proficient at it. But until next time, folks, this has been Unscripted saying, hey, Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern, Robert Duran Jr. will be on to talk basketball. And any and all questions that you may have, he would be more than happy, I would imagine, to answer. So, yeah, man, let's get crazy for that. And, I think that is done. Until next time, we are Unscripted and we are out of here. As soon as I can find the damn one.
I don't wanna hear any more small talk. Off that short pier, take a long walk. My style ain't free cause it ain't off top. I'm at your throat, go get a cough drop. I don't wanna hear any more small talk. Off that short pier, take a long walk. My style ain't free cause it ain't off top. I'm at your throat, go get a cough drop. It's kush. I love me too much and your brain turn to mush. Fall flat on your tush. You couldn't handle the product I push. I guess I'm just used to it, I just do it. Like Nike swoosh, none of that Reggie Bush. Cause I'm top shelf, I ain't got wealth. But I'm on my grind like park rails. I'd sell the shoes right off my 2 feet, then add one, that's a yard sale. Got dumb bars that be smarter than Harvard, Yale. Take your pictures elsewhere. You wanna be TMZ, I wanna be VIP. Quit pandering, I'm not answering cause I don't wanna hear any more small talk. Off that short pier, take a long walk. My style ain't free cause it ain't off top. I'm at your throat, go get a cough drop. I don't wanna hear any more small talk. Off that short pier, take a long walk. My style ain't free cause it ain't off top. I'm at your throat, go get a cough drop. All of that bark and no bite, that's alright. Not everyone can be the big dog. Take a walk, kick rocks. Can't keep me out cause I pick locks. They hearing me knocking, I'll never be stopping. I keep this shit popping like